Alright guys, so everyone's talking about the new collections that are coming out, and Capcom is like being so generous with all these releases, collections and guest characters and games, etc, etc. This is all great. I mean, I'm loving it, everyone's loving it. But I see comments in some forums and in some social media with people saying, this is great. Fightcade's gonna go away now, and we're gonna have console releases for Marvel versus Capcom. They're talking about that right now, for example. And based on the way things have been going, based on how things happen, that is not gonna be the case. People think that Fightcade is gonna go away and everyone's just gonna jump into consoles or into Steam because they believe that the experience is gonna be better. But the reality of it is that it's actually going to make Fightcade much stronger. What happens is that when a game like this releases, like an old school game, people go into the consoles, they play for a little bit, but in a matter of 1 or 2 months, the competition dies out, and most of the player base that just buys the game to try it out, maybe like 80% of the people are just going to go away, and then just like the hardcore players are going to keep playing if they feel that the netcode is good enough. But still, eventually everyone just jumps back into Fightcade, and the good thing is that these console releases actually help bring more people into Fightcade, because those people who get hooked to the console release end up going into Fightcade to continue playing that game that they started playing when the collection came out. If it happened with the first collection, you can bet that it's going to happen with the second one. And it's definitely going to happen with the Marvel vs. Capcom games. And I'll explain why. The most popular game in Fightcade right now, hands down, is Third Strike. Sometimes there are even like 1,000 players on Third Strike at any given moment playing the game, which is pretty awesome. It's like you go into Fightcade and you know you're gonna have people to play against that are close to your area. There's always someone from every continent at least, and every region and every country that at least near your country, that is ready to play. And that is pretty good, pretty cool. And something you can't really get on consoles. Even, and I'm gonna explain it with this because it's important to understand. Third Strike is the most popular game on Fightcade. When Collection came out, the netcode is actually good, but only when you are connected with people that are near your area somehow. But it was kind of a 50-50 thing. Because I remember speaking to players like in Super Turbo, for example. I used to have matches with Damdai, one of the best players in the West with Ryu. And we would talk about how he felt that there was no better connection for Street Fighter than this one. He told me that he felt that it was the closest thing to being offline. And but the problem was that it was only with certain people that you felt that way. So the connection was kind of a 50-50 thing that it would work or not. So what happened is that even though the netcode was great for some people, it wasn't for everyone. And people just started going back into Fightcade because the player base started to be much lower. And within a couple of months, it was like you would barely get any ranked matches going anymore. So people just went back into Fightcade. The same thing is going to happen with Marvel vs. Capcom, even if it has very good code. And the reason is very simple. Hardcore players are always looking for the largest amount of people that they can play against, right? And a lot of players from the old school are not even going to consider investing in a collection when they already have the game on Fightcade. They're going to think it's a waste of time and a waste of money, of course. And it makes sense, obviously, because they already have a place that works. And Fightcade connection is very good with a lot of people. There are people that complain that, hey, they can't get matches going and the connection is really bad. But that is not a valid complaint for most people that do have a great experience, right? So when this collection comes out, it has to be flawlessly good with the connection for people to actually remain in that collection. And I really don't see that being the case. There's always some quirk or some issue with the connections. that makes it so that people don't really consider it worth moving into it. So it would have to be way better than Fightgate for most of the hardcore players in Fightgate to actually migrate and invest in this new collection to move to the Marvel vs. Capcom versions on the console and Steam. But the reality of it is that it will likely be just as good as Fightgate, but not better. And if it is better, it's just going to be slightly better. In most cases, that's how it happens, right? So it would have to be exceptionally better for an entire community to move from Fightgate into Marvel vs. Capcom, especially given that this game is not really that popular, even in Fightgate. Even now that people can play it on Flycast, and it's very smooth. The gameplay is very good. I mean, playing online, this game online right now on Dreamcast is very good, just like CVS2. It plays very well. People that say it doesn't, they haven't been playing against people that are, close to them. And when I say close, they don't have to be that close. I play against a lot of people from the States, and I'm in Central America, so I'm not really that close. And I get a great connection with a lot of players from the States, like really good. You barely see any lag, and the controls are responsive. That's one thing with Fightgate. Usually my problem with Fightgate is that the stuttering, right? And the freezing from time to time, and that buzzing sound that we all hate. But the inputs themselves, they usually work just fine. And I know that because I played 3S on Fightgate, and I can parry online even with 2-bar connection. So that means that the motions are registering properly, because parrying is one of the most difficult things to do in this game, and if you don't have a good connection, it's way more difficult. So yeah, I'm not gonna say it's flawless, but it's a very good experience. And it's not just the connection either, it's also the cheating. But the thing that matters the most in this kind of situation is that players are able to understand is that there's got to be a combination of an experience online that is near perfect with a ranking system that has anti-cheating in some way. Because if it's too easy to cheat, like they did in Collection 1, people just get discouraged, right? They don't want to play ranked anymore. And these games survive because of the rank system. They don't survive because of private lobbies. Generally speaking, people are looking for a good ranking system. The future of those collections depends on the quality of both the ranking system itself, the way the ranking system works, and the connection, right? So if those two things are not exceptionally good, people will always go back to Fightgate. And Fightgate is also improving all the time. It's not like it's some kind of abandonware that people are just hoping won't collapse one day. It's actually a project that is given more and more thought and updates day after day. All right, guys, so that's it for this one. Remember to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.